What's going on, fam? It's your boy DMV back with another one. This is one specifically for the NFC East. So we're going to go through a little bit of film of each quarterback, and we're going to, break down some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses, and then we're going to do a ranking at the very end of this. So the good thing about this division is that this division right now is ending on a strong note, big leg up from last year, and everybody's in a really good situation, whether it be the play callers or the new tweaks that everybody's making. So we're going to talk about each quarterback, and like I said, we're going to do a ranking. But before you do anything else, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get to it. First up is rookie. Well, he's not a rookie anymore, but you know what I'm saying? He's still a new kid on the block. This is going to be his second year, but Sam Howell is first up, and his strengths are I think that he has confidence coming off of that Week 18 victory against the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to have a different type of hunger that we haven't seen from a Washington quarterback in a long time, with the chip being on the shoulder after coming off of that confident victory in Week 18 last year. Now, he does have athletic ability, sneaky athleticism. He's a guy that can do read option stuff, RPO type stuff with Eric Bieniemy coming in. And Eric Bieniemy is going to be able to use those tools. That's a strength as well, because you're going to have a play caller that can match some of the things that he can do. A guy who has different arm angles as he can, deliver, as you can see. And he's a guy that looks like he can control the offense if you give him that. So Eric Bieniemy and him at this time, they're only going to elevate what he can do. He has a quick release. Now, some of the weaknesses is that he doesn't have enough experience in this NFC East, which is a very, very physical division. And all three of the other teams made the playoffs last year, and quite frankly, all three of them had playoff victories. So he's going to have to come in and prove himself. Next up is Dak Prescott. The number one thing that you want your quarterback to have is leadership. You want him to be able to control the reins and be, an officer for the team, and people be able to look up to your quarterback. That's what Dak Prescott is. Number one is leadership. Number two, I would say, one of his strengths is third down efficiency. Dak Prescott is one of the top quarterbacks at doing that. At 3rd and 5, I believe he's second in efficiency behind Patrick Mahomes, who is probably the best quarterback that I've ever seen talent-wise. And number three, he's going to have a new system that is going to fit his skill set. So if you remember Dak's rookie year, Dak was very, very good at quick reads, getting the ball out quick, being able to have, especially when routes have concepts, not so much of the option system. So being able to mix some of the West Coast in with what he already does is going to be phenomenal for him getting the ball out quick. His mental toughness, man, it's not for the faint of heart being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, man. And you got to have a different type of mental toughness, and Dak has shown that time and time again, no matter what type of coverage he's getting. The NFC East dominance, 27-7. But some of the weaknesses, you're coming off of a turnover-laden season. You know what I'm saying? You threw the ball to the other team a lot, whether it was your fault or not. But a lot of people, that's what's in your mind. So maybe you come out of the season pressing, maybe you don't. The pressure of being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, man, that's always going to be up there. And, he handles that well. And, that NFC championship, a curse. You know what I'm saying? Dallas Cowboys have won wild card games. They've won 2 wild card games with him being the quarterback, but it's a matter of winning that divisional game and getting to that NFC championship. That's what's pretty much holding him back. So next up, Daniel Jones. It's actually funny because when you look at Daniel Jones, he looks like, the love child that Archie Manning doesn't claim or something like that, right? But he's more athletic than what meets the eye, man. Like he's somebody that's great at ball fakes, great at handling the football, play action and things like that. And I had decision making. I think that he's a pretty good decision maker as far as a quarterback goes. And I don't necessarily think that he's that talented of a quarterback, because we've seen talented quarterbacks, right? But his decision-making makes up for that. You know what I'm saying? He'll throw the ball away when he needs to. He'll tuck it and run it when he needs to. For the most part, you'll see Daniel Jones make the right decision more than you'll see him not making the right decision, right? He's pretty sharp at his footwork. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talked about his athleticism, but his coordination is something that we don't talk about enough. And I think that he throws a pretty good football. If you give him a clean pocket and the receivers are able to get open, because receiver has been the issue for New York for quite some time, getting the type of receivers that he needs. But when you get him that and the play looks clean, Daniel Jones looks like a really good quarterback. And if you look at that Minnesota playoff game, which was shown right now, Daniel Jones looked like a wizard in that game. Daniel Jones really willed his team to victory in that game. But some of the weaknesses, you know what I'm saying, confidence, fortitude. Sometimes I need Daniel Jones to step up more than what he really does. And we talk about that decision maker. He's always going to make the right decision. But when are you going to step up and, you know what I'm saying, just put everybody on your back? The Minnesota playoff game was a good one, but also remember Minnesota chokes in the big moments as well. But when you went to Philadelphia, you know, you saw that fortitude go out of the window. So it's like, does he have the respect of his opponents? You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to ask that question. You know, I can say that about Jalen Hurts. I can say that about Dak Prescott. They have the respect of their opponents. But does Daniel Jones have that same type of respect from his opponents going into the week? Not to mention, you got an unhappy Saquon Barkley over there. And we know that Saquon Barkley has been the key to that offense. Daniel Jones has been a solid piece of that. But we know that they're led by Saquon Barkley, whether people want to believe it or not, even though I do believe that Daniel Jones shows some toughness and he's a guy that kind of, you know, holds things in place. But Saquon Barkley is one of the most talented players in the entire NFL. And we've seen that. So how is Daniel Jones going to be able to, you know, carry that load and be that leader? You know what I'm saying? Is he going to be able to do that? And we'll be able to find that out this year. So next up is going to be Jalen Hurts. And last but certainly not least, we have Jalen Hurts, man, coming off of a MVP candidate type season. There are some out there that can argue that he could be last year's MVP. You know, he lost that to, you know, Patrick Mahomes. And, you know, for a good portion of the year, he was the leading candidate. And when you think about Jalen Hurts, you think about his leadership, right? That's, you know, I said that about Dak Prescott, but they are very similar in that aspect where they're cerebral figures of their team. When you look at now this is how I've always been told to judge a quarterback. When you look at the crowd of the team and you look, you can tell who the quarterback is, and that's Jalen Hurts. His athleticism, as far as, you know, the quarterback position is, you know, top tier. He's definitely, you know, we kind of joke and say that he's a running back, but he's obviously a guy that can do both. He can pass and he can run, and he has toughness. You know what I'm saying? Toughness is another attribute that I used as a pro for him. And he's improving as a passer. He improved the last year. I believe that a lot of the play calling had to do with that, but you also have to execute as well. And Jalen Hurts, as you can see throughout these Super Bowl clips, he did a heck of a job in this game, actually. He very well could have been MVP of this game if Philadelphia had won this game. But Jalen Hurts has definitely improved as a passer, and I think that he'll improve this year as well. And Super Bowl appearance, we're talking about that, right? Like, it's a major feat to be able to make it to a Super Bowl, especially being a leader. And Jalen Hurts had a pretty good playoff. He had a pretty good playoff stint last year in the times that he did play with a bum shoulder, and you could barely tell, except for that Hail Mary, that he was even having trouble with his shoulder in throwing the football and delivering. So there's a lot of positives that you can have for Jalen Hurts, but there are some things that he needs to work on. Third down passing being one of them. Philadelphia did a very good job of staying ahead of the chains, but if you're looking at 3rd and 5 and above, Philadelphia definitely needs to improve there, and hopefully with the new play caller, they'll be able to do so. Red zone passing being another one, you know, inside the 10-yard line. That's where your quarterback has to be a lot more accurate, being able to thread the needle and you know, anticipating reads and things like that. And I believe that Jalen Hurts can definitely improve there. But there is one thing to be said about that, though, about third downs and about third down passing. If you don't need it and what's broke, don't fix it. If the way that they win is staying ahead of the chains and what they've been doing, then, you know, any team that can do that is not necessarily a weakness, but, you know, you definitely have to point that out because you don't know what's going to happen with the play calling this year. You don't know if they're going to, you know, be able to have the same cohesive unit as they did. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things change. Your running back is changing, and who's calling the plays and things are setting up. So, you know, and then that was one of my weaknesses as well because, you know, you don't know how that relationship is going to go. And obviously, you know, most of the people in the division are having new play callers this year. So I'm interested to see how Jalen Hurts and the Eagles adapt to that. They have a really good offensive line. They have the best receiving core in the division. So, and if you think about it as a cohesive unit, as an offensive line, they really have an attitude up front that I believe that the rest of the division does not have. And, that's them following the lead of their quarterback. He's a tough-nosed guy. He's been to a Super Bowl. In college, he had been to 2 national championships, and he was, a Heisman candidate. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it and say, his leadership is why they've gotten there. And as you guys can see, they're going to do their little rugby scrum and get him in the end zone, which nobody else is able to do like they are. So, yeah, Jalen Hurts is definitely a quarterback that is one of the tops in the leagues right now. And, he's out to, prove why he is there. Okay, so let's get into these rankings. I believe that, obviously, the obvious choice at number 4 is Sam Howell. He just doesn't have the experience right now. The other three have at least a playoff win under their belt. They have some skin in the game, and the youngster has to get some skin in the game. He has, he just has to get some starts under his belt for us to be able to really tell what he is. He has all of the tools. They just have to go out and execute, and he hasn't done that yet, so you have to put him at number 4. Number 3 is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had a career year, and, that's the best that we've ever seen Daniel Jones look. And Mike Kafka did a hell of a job with him, working with the skill sets and things that he has. But with that being said, we have to see Daniel Jones be able to do that again. One could say that about Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts had an MVP caliber season and took his team to the Super Bowl. So, and that's a major feat, like we talked about. And Jalen Hurts, head to head, we know what happened. But Daniel Jones just has to show that fortitude and show that he can continue to do that and really just be that guy that New York needs. And I'm going to go with 1A and 1B here. 1B is going to be Dak Prescott. So while I believe that Dak Prescott has the abilities and the tools that are better than Jalen Hurts, the one thing that stands out to me is that, that curse that I talked about, that NFC Championship curse. Dak Prescott has to be able to do that. Now, they have to be able to put people around him, and I believe that they put the play caller around him, and he has the tools to make it work. But right now, the bigger thing that stands to me is getting over that hump. And Jalen Hurts obviously is 1A for me right now. Not necessarily anything that has to do with tools, but his leadership did, lead the Eagles to where they are. You can say that he led them. Both teams had great defenses, and however the chips may fall, Jalen Hurts is a winner. Like I talked about, in college, he won a national championship. He got there, even though Tua took over the next one. But then he's able to get to a Super Bowl in an MVP caliber type season. So Jalen Hurts is 1A as it stands right now because I put winning above anything. And I think Dak has better tools, but Jalen, his team has gotten further than a Cowboys team led by Dak Prescott. So we have to look at it that way, and I'm interested to see the comments, but that's how it stands right now. That's my rankings, guys. I appreciate you for stopping by, and I'm out. Peace.